Hello, hello, hello. Hey, everybody, Benjamin. Let's do a really quick video about prenuptial agreements. Prenups. I was just at a friend's house, and he's also been through a divorce. He's a single dad, and we were talking about things we would have done different, so on and so forth. And one of the things that we were talking about, we have some mutual friends, and I was over at a some friend's house a couple weeks ago, and there was some single guys my age, some younger guys that have never been married, and some of these guys that were over there as well, that are my age, they haven't been married before. And then there was two of us that had been married before, and they were asking us, um, what would you guys have done different, since your marriage didn't work out? Like, what would you have done different? What advice could you give? And I mean, there's, like, of course, like the usual, like, I would have been a better listener. I would have tried, you know, something. I would have went to church more. I would have had different friends, something like this. But and we did kind of touch on those, but it was a little bit. But it was kind of like, and actually, this other guy who's been divorced, we both look at each other. So it's just him and I that have been married before, and the rest of them were all single guys. What would you do? And we both we look at each other without even saying this. We didn't even mean to do this, but we're just both like prenups, prenuptial agreements. And the one guy was like, "Get out of here! What do you mean, like prenups?" And he was telling the young guys, "Don't listen to these guys, man. These guys are just jaded, bitter and hurt, type of thing." And my friend says that's pretty funny because none of you guys have been married, so none of you guys know. And you would absolutely get prenuptial agreements written in before you married. And what's interesting about that, and the point that, and this guy goes on and he was talking about, well, that's kind of harsh, don't you think? And like, as if, and this isn't to let guys off the hook, right? But it's like, as if it's men just out here filing for divorce. That's not true. Um, the most recent stat I found is again, not that I don't even care. I don't want to get into stats, but it's not men who are filing for divorce. Okay, it's predominantly women, far and away women. And um, what's interesting about that is, and the way the guy kind of responded made it sound like we were some kind of like misogynist um, asshats that were just bitter and hurt type of thing. And what is interesting is that that's not the way. When I tell people that, because I do get asked that once in a while, I say it with pity. I'm not like, oh, because women are so horrible and can't be trusted, therefore you need to get prenuptial agreements so you don't lose your kids and everything. And I don't feel that way when I say it. It's a pity. It's a real pity. It's like, I hate to say it, but prenuptial agreements, because the odds of it not working out are high. And that's a huge problem in the Western culture, period. Is we have a divorce culture. We live in a post-marriage society. And so when guys say that type of stuff, I think they're saying it because they have been hurt and they probably were bitter and hurt, but they've recovered from their divorces and they just know they would have done it different so that a family doesn't get split up like it does, or the lopsided division of assets doesn't take place, right? And I had this lady, coincidentally enough, she doesn't talk to me anymore, um, ask me once, this was some time ago, kind of the same question. If you were got to get married again, let's say hypothetically we were going to get married, what would you do? What would you do different this time around? And I said, I prenuptial agreements. And I may have shared this before, but she said, well, I wouldn't need protection from you if people were to get married. Like if I was to marry you, I would trust you, so I wouldn't need prenuptial agreements. And I said, no. I wouldn't need, you wouldn't need protection from me. I know that. I'm protecting myself and my kid from you because the statistical probability of you leaving and having a unfair advantage in divorce is higher than mine is. So I'm not trying to be mean. I say it with pity because it's like a lot of marriage just into divorce, and this is where we are across the board as a culture, and that's something to be really thought through and meticulous about and prayed about, and um, even though you love the other person, you have to prep yourself for who the person that they might become. And this goes for both of you. Both parties get protected in a prenuptial agreement. Both parties can write in what happens and you can agree on it if the marriage doesn't work. Both parties get protected. And hopefully, even more than that, the children get protected. So it's not a bad thing. And so when guys say things like, and they sound like, oh, you're just being a misogynist prick, you're trying to rule over the household or the woman or something like that. It's like, no. For the guys who've been through it, they know better now. They know better. They don't want to do that again. And if it's a possibility that it could happen, they want to have legal ability to follow the most rational path forward if a divorce happens. So I think a lot of times when guys say this, oh, prenuptial agreements, they're not saying it because they're being pricks or because they're bitter and hurt. It's because they've learned some very valuable wisdom, I think. And they say it out of a pity because it's probably likely that you're going to get divorced. And they know that about you as you're going into your divorce. And so they're trying to give you some coaching so that lives don't get destroyed. I don't think that's fully a bad thing. What do you guys think?